Welcome to the Personal Finance Podcast. Today we're going to dive into something that's been all over the news, student loan debt, and how Biden's latest moves could be a game changer.
Yeah, it's a real nail biter. Right now, you've got millions of Americans feeling the squeeze of those loan payments. And meanwhile, there's this political and legal showdown happening that's going to decide their fate.
It's like a real-life drama unfolding.
Okay.
So, imagine this. You're staring at that student loan bill, right? And it's kind of terrifying. But then Biden announces this thing called saving on a valuable education, and suddenly there's a glimmer of hope.
And this isn't just some small tweak, the Savvy plan, it's a potential lifeline. We're talking about monthly payments potentially cut NHALF compared to other plans. I mean, for a lot of folks, that could be the difference between barely scraping by and actually getting ahead.
Sounds like a dream come true, right? But there's always a but. It seems like
Always.
Republican attorneys general, especially from Kansas and Missouri, are throwing a wrench in the works, leading the charge against Savvy.
Yeah, they're basically claiming Biden's playing a shell game, going around Congress to push through his own agenda on student loan forgiveness, especially after the Supreme Court kind of shut down his big debt cancellation plan last year.
So it's like a tug of war. Biden saying he's trying to help people get back on solid financial ground, and then you've got this huge legal battle brewing, claiming he's overstepping his boundaries.
And the thing is, the stakes are incredibly high. Because the outcome of this whole legal battle over SAVE, it's going to have a ripple effect on millions of borrowers and their families for years down the line.
But even with all this back and forth, Biden has actually managed to get rid of some debt, right?
He has. Even with all these roadblocks, he's managed to use SAVE to forgive $5.5 billion in student loan debt. That's for over 400,000 borrowers. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and he didn't stop there. He just announced another $4.5 billion in forgiveness, specifically for people in public service jobs, teachers, firefighters, nurses, bringing the total forgiven under his watch to over 1 million public servants.
It's definitely a strategic move, targeting a group that most people see as deserving of some relief. It's a way to appeal to voters, but also it could potentially give the economy a boost if those borrowers suddenly have more money to spend.
Okay, so he's helping some borrowers, but the big question is, will SAVE even survive these legal challenges? Will it be there to help even more people down the line? And what happens if, there's a change in administration after the 2024 election?
That's the million-dollar question, right? I mean, if Biden or Harris win, they're going to fight tooth and nail to keep SAVE going, maybe even expand it. Who knows? But if a Republican takes the White House, well, it could be a whole different ballgame. Remember Trump, he was talking about getting rid of loan forgiveness for public employees when he was in office.
It's like everyone with student loans is on the edge of their seat waiting to see what happens. So while we're waiting for all this to shake out, what can people do, especially if they're already feeling overwhelmed by those loan payments?
First things first, don't panic, okay? This pause on repayments, even though it's temporary, it's like a little breathing room. Use this time to really get a handle on your loans. What kind of loans do you even have? What are the interest rates? What repayment options are out there?
So it's like knowledge is power, right? Figure out what you're dealing with before you make any big decisions.
Exactly. And you know what? The federal student aid website, that's your best friend right now. Seriously, they break down all the different repayment plans, the loan forgiveness programs. They even have these tools that help you really understand your debt.
So it's like having a financial advisor in your back pocket.
Pretty much. And the thing is, don't wait around for the politicians to figure things out. Use this time right now to explore your options, especially this SEV plan. If it sticks around, it could make a huge dent in those monthly payments, free up some cash for you.
Hit the reset button, take control.
Exactly. And hey, don't forget about public service loan forgiveness either. If you're in one of those jobs, that path's still open, could be your ticket to a debt-free future.
Okay, so there's hope, even with everything up in the air. But, this whole thing got me thinking, what about the people who didn't go to college? Or the ones who worked their butts off to pay off their loans already? This whole student loan forgiveness thing, is it fair to them?
Yeah, that's a big one, right? The fairness issue. It's like some people are saying, hold on, I didn't go to college, I worked hard, paid off my loans. Why should others get a free pass?
Yeah, it's like they're being punished for doing what they were supposed to do.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual choices either, right? It's bigger than that. You got to think about how student loan debt affects the whole economy.
Okay, so how does my student loan debt, let's say in California, how does that affect someone running a small business in Maine?
Well, think about it. What happens if millions of people suddenly don't have those loan payments hanging over their heads? That's extra money in their pockets.
They're going to spend it.
Exactly. Which means more money flowing into businesses, big and small, all over the place. That little cafe in Maine, they might see a bump in customers because people actually have some spending money now.
So it's like a domino effect. More spending, more growth.
Exactly. And when people feel like they're on more solid financial ground, they're more likely to invest, start businesses themselves, buy homes, all that stuff that boosts the economy.
But I've also heard the opposite, that getting rid of this much debt could actually backfire, lead to even bigger problems like inflation.
Right, that's the flip side. Some people are worried that if you pump too much cash into the economy too quickly, prices are going to go up. And that hurts everyone in the end. And then there's the whole question of what it does to the federal budget, especially long term.
So it's like walking a tightrope trying to help borrowers without throwing the whole system out of whack.
Yeah, it's a tough one, no easy answers. And honestly, this whole debate, it's going to keep going long after this election.
Sounds like we all need to stay informed and make the best financial decisions we can, no matter what happens with these policies.
100%. Whether Sevi E survives, grows, disappears, you're always better off understanding your finances, your options, planning for the future.
So yeah, the future student loans might be a bit of a cliffhanger right now, but knowledge and a solid plan, those are your best bets for whatever comes next.
Couldn't say it better myself. Knowledge is power, my friend, especially with your money.
Thanks for listening, everyone. For more tips and insights on navigating the world of personal finance, make sure you're following us, and we'll be back with more episodes soon.